So let's cue the music and get started with this devlog. You are watching my new devlog setup here, where I, to save time, hopefully I will edit them while recording them. So I have this little stream deck, and I've done a setup now where I can edit it while recording it. I have some B-roll running here where I can have this running while talking over it to make it interesting to look at, so you don't have to look at me all the time because that's kind of boring. So I try to do devlogs this way to save a bunch of time, so I don't have to edit like I've done in the previous like 4 weeks or something like that. These other devlogs might be more interesting because they are edited and all that, but this one is much easier for me to do, and really I just need to communicate some new stuff, so I rather try to do it this way and save a bunch of time and thereby have more time to actually develop the game. However, that also means that you will have to learn with have to deal with a little ums and ahs and mistakes, like I just did there on purpose, of course. I guess practice will make perfect. So the more I do this way, the better I will be to do it. So let's switch up the music to something a little more nice and quiet, because we are actually going to go through the changelog of this next update that I have ready for you right now on Steam, on the experimental branch. Very, very important. 2022.4.2. Anyway, let's switch to some lo-fi and take a look at it. So this past week I've actually done a lot of stuff, and today I'm pushing the 2022.4.2 version to the experimental branch so you can test it out. And let's go through some of the stuff here. So usable behavior objects no longer necessarily show up with a use E, this little UI thing, or get outlined. And the reason for that is talking with some of the mod creators in the Discord, we kind of realized that it's not always you want something to be outlined or have this E showing up, because some things are just not important enough, and also if you have many things in a small space, it gets super cluttered with outlines and UI stuff and all that stuff. So for instance, I have changed now the light switch in the big house. That is something you can click on, switch on and off. It's something I did just to kind of test it out, this new usable component, and that no longer outlined because it's not that important really for the game. It's much more just a kind of a gimmick or whatever. So now modders have the possibility to turn that on and off. So yeah, hopefully it fits better, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's the first little thing. Secondly here, added pickup animation. Yeah, so before, in the previous version, when you picked up something, the item just kind of, just instant was in your hand, which is kind of ruined the super realistic feeling of this game. So having it fly over to your hand makes the realism go to 11. But anyway, so yeah, now just because it feels a little better, looks better, it now flies to your hand when you pick it up. Also, and that's kind of the next one here, change the pickup logic to always rotate the pickup object to a fixed initial rotation, so it's predictable. That sounds weird, but what I mean is that previously, if something were, let's take this and let's do an example here. So let's say this one is on the floor and I pick it up. Before it was just picked up like this, so it was in my hand, and then you could rotate it to kind of face the way you want it. But now what happens in the new version is that everything gets rotated to an up position, you can say. So everything will, no matter how it's, let's say it's like this, when I pick it up, it goes like this. And if it was located like that, if I pick it up, it goes like that. And what that does is that it makes it more predictable. So because you can still rotate it when you have picked it up, but it's more predictable in the way that you always know when you pick something like this up. If you could pick this one up, but if you pick something up, you always know that it stays like that, so you can quickly rotate it in the way you want it. I don't know if it makes sense, but it feels much better doing it this way. A little more predictable and yeah, better to use that, easier to use that way. Okay, let's see here. Added logic to ignite fireworks when holding it in your hand. Something that people requested. Wouldn't it be nice if you hold something, you could ignite it and throw it? And now you can. So what happens is you pick it up, you left click to ignite it, and you can now right click to throw it. There are some stuff I need to change here because I need some visual indication that you're actually throwing it, and also it would be nice if the torch, the normal one you have, if you pick up some item that can be ignited, that the torch is in the other hand, so it's kind of like and then you can throw it. But it doesn't do like that right now. It just picks up, you can ignite it, and you can throw it. So it's the first iteration of that. I will look into the other thing in this coming week here. So, let's take a little ad if you don't know what game I'm actually talking about. If you're new to my channel, I'm building a fireworks simulator game while having a wife, 2 kids, a full-time day job, and a dog. Aww. The game is already on Steam, so go check it out. It's called Fireworks Mania, and you can find a link in the description. This setup really rocks. I just need to practice to be better at it, be better at talking without doing ooms and ahs, and stick to the plan. So let's get back. Let's take some little more upbeat trip tune music so we can get going. Okay, that was maybe too crazy. Okay, crazy. We go back to lo-fi. Added logic to blah blah blah. Hold in hand, we have that. Changed left and right mouse. It's just changed. You will see it when you try it out. Added logic, so the throwing and pick object switch back. Okay, it switched back to the tool you were previously using. And this was an idea from, I think it was somebody commenting on the last update post I did on Steam. But what he said was that, why doesn't it change back to the previous tool when you throw your stuff? The item you have in your hand, and that's actually a really good idea. So now, if you, for instance, have the physics tool selected, you pick something up, then the moment you drop it, it switches back to the physics tool again. So it saves you a trip of going into the mod tool, not the mod tools, but into the tools menu and pick the tool again. So it works pretty good, and I really like it. So please put in the comment what you think about that, and if you think it's neat. I think it is. So bugs, we fixed one bug. Fixed the lid on the green trash can so it cannot be picked up, as that made the physics go nuts. It was also reported by one of you that you could pick up the lid and then the entire trash can was just like shaking and everything, and we cannot have that. So you can no longer pick that lid up. Let's switch to the mod tools. Let's just quickly go over that. That is basically added this optional setting for the usable component to turn on and off the outline. That was what we talked about in the beginning here. And also the interaction UI, so modders can kind of control that. Secondly, upgraded to a new version of UMod. So it's no longer this patched quick version, it's the real 2.9.0 version. And refactored, and this is actually important, refactored the base fireworks behavior to implement some more interfaces. Before, there was something implemented in the base firework, and a lot of interfaces were implemented in each of the different behaviors. But as a lot of them were kind of, just duplicate of what we already have, I've moved it to the base firework behavior. Again, I won't go into details because modders will figure it out, but reach out to me on the Discord if you're having trouble. But I guess very few modders will actually be hit by this because it requires you to have done your own firework behavior that you kind of inherit from this base firework behavior. But maybe the shell tool could be a candidate that might break by this, but let's see. We'll take it in Discord. So anyway, this was my little devlog here, and I saved so much time because it only took 9 minutes to do, and yeah, that's how long the video is. So see you in the next one. Bye.